Are we live? Welcome. Gotta get used to this new setup here. Hey guys, it's Mario. I got lights now. Gaston is gonna come this weekend and record a pod. But before that, I wanted to set everything up here. So this is gonna be a little live stream of catching up. Hope the audio is good. Maybe I should check that. Anyways, that's fine. So, what have I been up to as the mic goes down? Well, I'll tell you that I looked at my Uber app, which keeps hassling me now that I'm not driving, to sign back on. It's offering me all sorts of weird quests and stuff. How the hell did I get this? I'm just going to leave it like that. Things I had to set up all of my cameras again. Let's see if the other angles are. Yeah, there's the red chair angle. That one needs work. I don't know what, that's just to preview pictures. No, I'm on the green screen. All right, well, we're just going to stay here for this podcast. Yeah, I checked. They kept sending me. This is about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Well, it's got to be at least 4 weeks ago. They started sending me, Uber is sending out these, and by the way, this is not going to be an Uber podcast. I'm just going to catch up where I'm at, because I haven't done it in 4 weeks. I don't know how it is. I don't know if the good season is making drivers happy. I kind of hear here and there things on TikTok and things from my group chat. But anyways, Uber has sent out this email. I made a TikTok about it. My last 2 TikToks on my TikTok channel. Maybe I should put that up here. Explain what happened. Basically, we had to update our profile pictures for the application. You know what sucks? I need to figure out a way to put my laptop up here so that I'm talking to the camera. Because this whole thing, if I have to produce the show, it's me looking down, and that's fine when somebody else is talking, but when I'm talking, it looks rude. It looks like I'm on my phone and I'm talking to you, which I kind of am. So it says they send you an email, almost a threatening email. You know, Uber has this weird way of sending these veiledly threatening messages, like, hey, don't forget to do this. If you don't do this in 4 days, your account could be locked out or whatever. So I go in there. It asked me to scan my license again. It's the same license I applied for. I haven't renewed it or anything. It's still valid. So I took a picture. It accepted that, and then take the profile picture, because they're cracking down on illegal accounts, and that is, people are probably complaining to them that, hey, it says Maria is picking me up in a white Honda Accord, and I get some fat guy named Carlos picking me up in a white Honda Accord. And it's clearly it's not the same picture as in the app. And sometimes people get confused, because when you first sign up for Uber, you probably look like a normal person to them. And then as you do Uber for 2 or 3 years, you start gaining weight. You start, you can grow a beard. You start losing hair. You start getting white hair, gaining weight. And yeah, so you got an old ass profile picture, and people are uncomfortable with that. So they're cracking down on that. And I did all that, but then they kept sending me emails telling me that I haven't done that. And I'm like, oh, okay, is this how they're going to get me? Are they trying to like create an error? Because that's what DoorDash did to me. 1 second. I guess I could take the mic now that I have a good mic, but now the stand is not. God damn it. I don't know what's going on. I don't even know if I'm live anyways. I just wanted to put my TikTok handle on here. There we go. That's my TikTok, so follow me there and watch those last 2 videos. All right. So I know a lot of you have commented on my YouTube channel because ever since that day that I found out I was getting a new job, I decided to take it easy on the vlogging. Mainly because this is just never going to work. Annoying. It's annoying that I'm live and this is happening. Alright, I think that'll do it. And then I lose my train of thought. You know, you could tell I'm a noob at this, guys, but bear with me. Alright, it is live. Okay, sounds good. You get the point. All right. Great. Let's see. The chat window. Do I have a chat window? No. What did I do there? I just put that as a live chat. All right. So, anyways, so I started my new job, right? About it's already been 5 months, pretty much. But for a while, I would like to say this about Uber and stopping doing Uber, or turning in the keys. That's another way you could say that. When you get a job, a full-time job, and you no longer have to do Uber, it's not so simple to quit. And what I mean by that is, at least for me personally, now I understand if you just do it part-time, it's no big deal because you do it for fun, or you do it for extra money for certain things. But when you depend on Uber for a long period of your life, quitting cold turkey, it's not that it's hard to do. It's great. It's like, fuck, I don't have to work today. Great. I could chill and watch. I've always wanted to see Severance, so I saw Severance. Okay, cool. But it becomes when you depend to make the kind of money on Uber to pay your bills and keep your head above water, even if barely, you have to put so many hours on the road. It becomes just part of your life. And it wasn't that it was difficult. It was that I noticed that I had to wean myself away from it. I had to set new goals. Hey, I got a new job. I'm getting a steady income now every week, right? When I first started, I was entry level, right? So it's not like I could just up and quit Uber totally. I still kind of, in order to make the kind of money that I needed to make, still needed to do a few rides here and there. Make at least, I don't know, even if it's $40, $50, $60 every day. That would, you could supplement that. But then what I started noticing is doing my job, I realized, I need to give this my attention. I can't have these Uber stress and Uber thoughts on my mind. I can't it's rides are hitting, so let's just work until 4 a.m. It's like, no, dude, I should be asleep at 4 a.m. I should be asleep by, I've been falling. That's another thing. Sleep schedules. I've been falling asleep by 1, 2 in the morning, the latest. waking up at 7:30. I only need like 5 or 6 hours of sleep. So sometimes not even that. Like sometimes 4.5 hours is fine. But you don't want to put yourself in that situation unnecessarily, right? So I started weaning myself away from doing Uber and I started focusing on my job because I saw opportunities there. And I don't know, after about 2.5 months at my new job, I was given a promotion, and I was stoked, and a promotion with higher pay. And then all of a sudden, it's like I was waiting for that to kick in, so I was still driving. But in the back of my mind, it's like, oh, when I get that, when the promotion starts, and I start getting used to that income bump, like there is no reason for me to even do 4 or 5 rides or try to make an extra, $40, $50. This is just, it would be more of a hassle. Like it's not worth it. Like all of a sudden your worth changes, your value of just all those long hours you put on the road, the dangerous situations you put yourself in, and all the negative things about Uber that you kind of block out, the risks. So yeah, I didn't do it consciously, but I just started getting used to a new lifestyle. It's hard to explain. It's like when you do Uber full time, like you don't have a lot of time off. And when you do, there's not much to, perfect example, look at this podcast setup. I've been trying to put these foam panels all over this room probably for the last 2 years, and been doing it little by little, but it's like I never had hey, this weekend, because I have a regular schedule, I have Saturdays and Sundays off, and I get holidays off. It's like a regular standard, U.S. holiday schedule. And you get those days off, you're like, holy shit. I can go visit my buddy on the 4th of July who lives in Orlando. I wasn't really able to do that unless I turned it into an Uber trip, which I've done. I've done Uber in Orlando. So it was kind of a new headspace to say, you know what, I don't need to work today. I'd rather put foam panels in my podcast studio. I'd rather watch this TV show that I got into from Australia. It's a great show. It was called The Newsreader. It's got 3 seasons. I would definitely check that out. And the other thing I had to adjust to was the constant fast food. It wasn't forcing me, but it's just so easy to always eat fast food when you're an Uber driver because you're in your car, you go to a drive-thru. It just becomes a routine at the end of the night. Am I groggy? So those were things that I had to kind of little by little get used to, and I'm glad I did, because I think had I have tried to continue balancing and trying to do both, one of them, my real job would have suffered. And yeah, I said real job because that's what everybody commented every time I complained about Uber. Get a real job. Well, now I have a real job. Guess what? I still think Uber sucks, and I'll defend drivers that are being pretty much abused at this point. But who knows? The world of Uber is changing also. It's one of the reasons that I didn't continue in the Tesla or anything. It's like I've been planning this for a while to kind of not depend on this stuff. Part of that Tesla rental, and when you start applying for Premier rides and stuff, is that it just keeps the hamster in the wheel. They just keep dangling that cheese, and you're running that wheels, and you really run yourself crazy, not only physically but more so mentally. Always worried about what's going on in the city. Oh, it's Friday night. What, are there any concerts? who's are the students in town, what's going on for Halloween. Oh, you know what? I could have worked Halloween. I'm glad to tell you, I watched everybody like hip hop hooraying over all the money they were making, surges everywhere, $20 surge, and it's like I couldn't have cared less. I was like, why is this Elgato thing showing up? I couldn't have cared less about Halloween. Hold on, let me switch angles here. Why is the Elgato thing? Red chair shot. All right, well, my red chair camera, which is a camcorder, decided to not turn on. It's happened before. It's probably, I don't know, maybe it doesn't overheat. Whatever. This is why I did this. So before Gaston comes in here and I have to try to fix that camera, now I know I have to attend to it. So anyways, I don't want to dwell on the whole Uber thing because who knows, maybe I'll have when Vinny comes in here, Vinny Cuz, we can sit down here and we'll have an Uber podcast where we talk about that. He's way better at explaining all the things. But the bottom line is I still follow accounts on TikTok in both languages where guys are constantly doing what I was doing, comparing the rides and doing the strategies and doing Uber content. And it's like, dude, I fell into that world because, A, I had no choice. And if I was going to do Uber every day, I might as well use my skills in social media and video editing or whatever to try to just create a channel that appealed to people that were doing that. Started with DoorDash and food delivery, and then it moved into Uber, and that's when most of the people started following me. And who knows, I might do a vlog again, it's sporadic, and show things other than Uber, and maybe I'll hop on and do Uber. I'm not opposed to doing Uber. I just had to take a real long, hard look at it and a break. And, just that mental stress. Forget about that you're destroying your car. That mental stress of needing to know how to adapt to the seasons, to the airport being slow. Who knows? Maybe this shutdown recently had that. I basically haven't done. When the government shut down, I stopped doing Uber. It's like, okay. So Uber was part of the government in my case. Because I remember talking to my buddy, like, oh, the airport's probably going to be crazy. There's going to be canceled flights. There's going to be random nights where people don't know to go to the airport, and there's going to be quick rides from local airport hotels because of canceled flights, delayed layovers, and all that. But it's like, oh, I don't have to think about that. I can focus on creativity and my new job, which I'm excelling at, which I'm learning a lot at, and I'm just super, super duper thankful. But so what am I doing with all this free time that I have? Well, that Elgato symbol there is bothering me. Let's just leave it there. Foam background. I noticed, besides I watched Severance. That's another story. Season 1 and Season 2. And then I'm like looking up to when season 3 is coming out for Severance, and it's like 2027 or something. Something ridiculous. It's something where it's like, why did I watch these first 2 seasons? I should have waited until season 3 was closer to the day. Now I'm gonna have to like rewatch it or catch up. And I was reading about that show, and it's an awesome show. It kept you engaged. But the one thing I'll say is that show, I guess, was a victim of the pandemic. I heard around the second season, on episode 5 or something shifts. It doesn't feel like the same show anymore. And although it was still good, they delved into like the background of the characters, and that's all good, but something felt disjointed. And I realized that that show suffered from COVID, the lockdowns, and the writer's strike. The writer's strike, we all forgot about the writer's strike. We didn't care because we were watching YouTube anyways. So it was like, who cares? All these network shows or streaming original shows are going to suffer. It's like, who cares? There's plenty of entertainment that we don't have to. But that was one of the shows anyways. And I've been going to the movies. Now, oh man, that shot. I'll show it. I'm so mad that camera crapped out because I was planning on going over and sitting in the red chair. It's connected, but it's just not showing it. The camera's not turning on. Back to the Future 40th anniversary. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh, it's the first film, because the first film was in 1985. Now, I did not see Back to the Future 1 in the movie theater, but I distinctly remember crazy about seeing 2. I saw episode 2 in the theaters. I saw all the specials promoting the one where Robert Zemeckis lies to my generation of children and says, "Oh, the hoverboards are real. They just have them. We found them because they were." Parents groups were upset, so they couldn't release them. He made up some BS story, and you watch that video now. It's on YouTube. I think Kirk Cameron was the host of it. It was like a behind the scenes thing, and a lot of kids believe that. And you watch it as an adult now. Obviously, he was joking, but he was trying to. He planted that little seed, and we were at that time. We were just young enough. I was like 9 or 10, like in 1988, 89. I was like, yeah, I believed it. So no, the hoverboards were not real. Zemeckis lied to us. So I remember seeing part 2 and being a big fan of part 2, but I always saw part 1. It was when cable first started. HBO and Cinemax and all those channels would have Back to the Future showing. It's still to this day playing on a bunch of streaming services for free. It's like a movie that you know from the back of your hand, you know, like you can quote it, all that. But anyways, 40th anniversary was happening on October 31st. And I said, you know what? I've never seen it in the theater, so this would be a great opportunity to catch up. I haven't seen it in a while. I wasn't going to rewatch it. I was like, I'm just going to go watch Back to the Future in the theaters. And, you know, I live right here by Sunset Place, so I was like, I'll just go to Sunset. They have IMAX there. But I realized I saw that other movie a couple months ago, that One Battle After Another. I saw that in the Sunset Place IMAX, and that IMAX, I don't think it's true IMAX. I think it's a lie. I think it's larger theater, and I think it's an IMAX negative, but I think the real IMAX is at that place in Fort Lauderdale by Las Olas, the planetarium or something. That one is a real true IMAX. There's a difference. Film nerds know about it. I casually watch people talk about it. So I was like, I don't know, just want to see Back to the Future on a bigger screen. Like, that's fun and all and great. I'm supporting it. But it's like, aren't there new technologies? And I remember, you know, kind of several years ago, pre-pandemic days, some theaters in the Dolphin Mall, they were called D-Box, where you could sit and the thing shakes and all that. And I kept hearing bad things about that technology. Like, it was very generic. It wasn't very. It was kind of more annoying. It took you out of the movie. And who knows? Who knows where that technology is now? But 4DX is basically the step above that. It's some Korean company that has this company that creates these seats that are a lot more responsive and have a lot more technology, and they've kind of perfected it, in my opinion. So I had never been to a 4DX. I had never even done the D-Box thing because I thought it was stupid. I was a naysayer. I was like, you don't need that shit. Let me see if I can fix this camera. I got the poster. I got to get the poster anyways. Nope, that's not happening. I bet the green screen's going to mess with this. So I went to the Regal. They have a 4DX. They gave me this poster at the door. They have a 4DX. Regal bought the technology from the Korean company. I forget the name of it. It's called CPG something 4DX. And I was like, okay. So I heard this was legit, a new technology. But I kind of wasn't expecting the intensity, how intense it was. Let's see. I'm going to pull up some photos here of the first time that I went. Okay. All right. So I'm in the movie theater. Like, I had no idea what to expect with this 4DX stuff, right? So I go like a regular theater. I get my popcorn. I get my soda. It's like this huge. They gave me the Paranorman popcorn bucket. Let's see. Okay, I had to put my popcorn on the floor because I was not. This is a close up of what the seat thing looks like. There's the poster. I guess I didn't need to show it. Anyways, but you see here on the on the arm rest, there's an option for water on and water off. So I was like, oh, it's gonna spray water at me. And you can see in the back of the seats, in front of you, there's like little mist sprayers or whatever. All this, I know it sounds so cheesy. It sounds so stupid. And quite frankly, I didn't know what to expect, but I know I wanted to see Back to the Future in the theaters. So I went to see it. Well, first things first. Not only was it way more intense, it caught me by surprise. It showed, I got there super early. It showed some regular trailers. Right? Seats weren't shaking. Right? Regular trailers. Lights were still on. It's like the 4DX was not active yet, but you were watching some trailers. Then it gets dark. And then now we're going into the 4DX trailers, where the trailers are going to have the motion and all that. So the absolute first thing I see, and I can bust it out here. Let me the hell is this? My Mac decides to look completely different. Did I upgrade to like Tahoe or something? I don't know what's going on here. Okay, so this is the first experience. This thing caught me. I had to film it. The first trailer that comes up is the trailer for Predator Badlands. Now, I think I'd seen some TV spots for the movie, but it was kind of like wasn't really something I was looking forward to seeing. But as soon as that Predator Badlands trailer hit, I felt the I heard the seats kind of like a hydraulic press going, letting out like pressure. And it was the seats rising, I think. And I'm like, oh, okay. So this trailer's timed to these seats. And let me show you kind of. The video's crappy, but you can see that it shakes and it's the expression on my face.
You're hunting something that can't be killed.
See, the trailer even says 4DX. Look at me, I'm laughing. You start laughing because you're on a Disney or a Universal ride. It is so well done. There, I'm like, it looks good. So I was like, okay, whatever this experience is, I'm coming back here. Like immediately after that trailer, I was like, I need to see that movie with this thing, with this technology. I was jumping all over the place. I was like, holy shit. And you saw me, I had this poster rolled up. Where the hell did I put the poster? I jacked this poster up because I thought I was just gonna like fold the poster and put it on a cup holder next to and the seat next to me, next to my soda, and I was just gonna eat popcorn like a regular movie. Hell no, bro. Like it was so intense. I was like, there needed to be more warnings about this. Imagine if I like took my 80-year-old mother to one of these movies and like she fell off or something. Because like when I say that it moves violently, especially with car chases or in fights, it does well with fist fights. Bullets zip. There's these little I can show you those. Like this is dangerous for an older person to do. This is not something that I would recommend anybody with like a heart condition. Like any warning you give anybody on a roller coaster, I would give in these movie seats. Let's see if I can. Let's close this. Sorry guys, I haven't streamed or been on the internet in forever, so I'm like not on my quickest. All right, there's a close up of the cup holders, right? They're deep cup holders, right? They're deep cup holders, and they're meant for sodas, and you could do that, but anytime that thing was in a situation where it was in a violent like shaking or like any kind of effects in the movie that required the seat to move like a car or a plane crashing or something, you were jumping all over the place. And your soda could have totally spilled. My popcorn could have spilled. This freaking poster that I had rolled up was like flying all over the place. I was like, oh, no. You have to like eat beforehand. You can't be messing around with popcorn. If you get a soda, you got to like keep your hand on it. And let's see. This is the headrest. You see that there's two of these little buttons by your ears. And the people that design the motion in sync to what you're watching, that's like an art form in itself. Cuz it's like in some of the trailers when a guy would get like shot and you'd see like a ricochet like next to his face, it would shoot in that same visual direction. So it really did immerse you into it. That's the word, immersion. Predator Badlands was in 3. Okay, back to the future. Back to the Future. Because Predator Badlands was in this theater, and it was real D3D, but I don't think it was natively shot there like Avatar. So, anyways, let me talk about the trailers first. So I'm there, about to watch Back to the Future. First of all, the trailers was like a show into itself. If you've never been to the 4DX theater, just going in to watch the trailers is an experience because they're like a half hour long. But what's weird is some of the movies are optimized for the shaking seats, for the motion, and some trailers played like the trailer of The Magicians with the guy who played Zuckerberg. What's his name? Jesse Eisenberg. What's that movie that's like a trilogy now? Now You See Me? The new Now You See Me trailer? The seats didn't shake. And that was right after I saw Predator Badlands, and I was jumping all over the place, and shit was spraying me in the face. And it was amazing. So it's like, okay, so now it was almost nerve-wracking just to sit through the trailers because you don't know if the next trailer is going to start shaking it or not. So you're like waiting, and it doesn't shake in every scene. So you have to wait until something happens in the trailer where you realize, oh, it's doing it, right? And so, okay, so the Magician trailer didn't do it. The next movie that I saw the trailer for, well, the Cat in the Hat trailer didn't have it, right? Okay, I understand that. It's a animated kind of thing. What was the next? Okay, Avatar. The new Avatar, Fire and Ash. You know James Cameron. Now that thing is going to be filmed in 3D with the cameras, with the double lenses or whatever. So that is probably going to be one of the biggest to go see in 4DX and 3D, because my suspicion is, and it was so clear when the Badlands trailer happened, that some of these movies, some of these newer movies coming out that are kind of action sequences and big spectacle movies, I feel like the directors and the producers of those movies are going to kind of opt for certain situations that would make the seats useful. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a thing of retrofitting it, right? Or just having a movie and having a guy do the design. But then there's like the idea of, like Predator Badlands was a pretty major high budget production. It was Disney that owns Fox now. They own Hulu. If you go on Hulu right now, you can see all the Predator movies from the Schwarzenegger one to the latest one with a little Indian girl. So I was like, like this moving technology is so good that I feel like directors are going to maybe opt for maybe even alternate cuts where you feel it. They're like, we'll spend more time in this Jeep going down a hill, just so that it would feel like an experience. And I can pinpoint when I finally did see Predator Badlands, situations where I thought that was happening. So anyways, what other trailers? The Wicked for Good trailer seemed to be very optimized for the seat movement. She's in a bubble floating, and it makes you feel like it doesn't just shake. It offers like G-force kind of feelings. So like if you're going down a waterfall, like it kind of makes you feel like you're falling. Almost like Star Tours. You know the amusement park at Disney World, the Star Wars ride? and the effects were similar. Like there's wind. There are fans on the sides of the ceilings. I have pictures of that too, but I didn't prepare for this, so whatever. The Muppet Vision Theater and Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. Like the whole like smells, sprays. It has a little hose by your foot that starts spraying out air, so it like feels like something's touching your feet or your legs. It's just really well done. It's really well done. Another thing that was similar to it at Disney was Honey, I Shrunk the Audience. It has a little bit when the Avatar trailer came up. It kind of felt like a little mini Flight of Passage at Animal Kingdom, where you're riding on the dragons. That trailer, by the way, I felt the Avatar trailer was edited in a way where it made the seats shake. Like, first it's shaking because you're underwater. Then it's shaking because there's a dragon. You're flying on a dragon, and it's going smooth. And then there's then there's like warships coming, and you slam into it, and you kind of it dents you, so like you feel like you were on the ship when the dragon lands on it. Then people are fighting in midair. When there's hand-to-hand combat, it also has these like things on the back of the seat that kind of punch you. It feels like somebody's doing this on your back on both ends. So like if a guy's throwing a punch and he gets hit or he lands on the floor, like you'll feel it. Like it's hard to explain, but it's amazing. And it didn't take me out of it. Maybe at the beginning where I was like getting used to it, but now that I know what's happening and that it's a controlled thing, they don't overdo it. Like if there's a dialogue scene in the middle of an action movie where nothing's moving around, it's not moving or doing weird things. You know, it lets it breathe for a while. It's interesting, the track that that has to be programmed and perfectly synced too, because if it's off by just half a second, like it wouldn't make sense. So anyways, so now okay. So I saw The Wicked, the Avatar. Okay, here's another example of a movie that was amazing. A trailer. And it looks like a movie that was designed specifically kind of for this idea that you're in a moving chair that's stimulating you. Chris Pratt movie that's coming out called Mercy. And it's basically like he gets arrested for the murder of his wife, but he didn't do it. But it doesn't matter because we live in a future world where the judge is AI, and he helped create the program of the AI judges, and he sits in front of this AI judge, and they strap him to a chair. And it's this dystopian future where if you can't prove you're innocent in the chair in 90 minutes, they would kill you. And the chair like straps him in, it zaps him, it moves around. Like you're basically in the thing that the main character, the protagonist in this movie's in. So it made sense. It makes sense. It's like, holy shit, did they like come up with this script? Not only does it look like a pretty cool script, like it's in the future and he has to piece together all these photos and there was a judge and it was just very visual and things were happening to him in the chair that would take full advantage of all the little tricks that the chair does. So that's kind of cool. So I'm looking forward to seeing that one too. Now I'm like, any movie that I sense is a high enough budget where I think the makers of the film were thinking about 4DX. Like I'm all for it. Like I never saw Wicked. I have no interest in Wicked, but I think I want to go see Wicked for good, just to experience it in 4DX, because it's like being on a ride. And the ticket prices aren't that much more than a regular ticket. I remember when I saw Superman here at Sunset Place, it was like it's basically like $20 for an adult, and popcorn and candy and sodas is another $20-$25. It's a complete ripoff. One person going to a movie theaters nowadays, it's like $50 minimum. I mean, you could, if you're doing it right, you I guess you could just like eat beforehand, just pay for the movie tickets. But I like the idea. I like the popcorn. I like the soda. I like that. So there's certain things that happen in a movie theater, certain experiences that, the concessions is a part of it too. So where was I? Okay, so then the Mercy trailer. Okay, so it's like so many of these movies in these trailers that I normally would have no interest in because we're watching these movies on our devices, on our Netflix, on our screens, and it's just so boring. And half the time you're scrolling on social media because you're bored or it's a slow part of the movie. There's no doing that in these types of movies because you better strap in. You're on for a ride. So, what was the other trailer that I saw? That was Avatar. Which other one had a movement? Whatever high budget movie. Oh, I saw The Running Man yesterday actually in 4DX. And that wasn't in 3D, but it had interesting 4DX effects. It was the first time, well, no, not really. There were smells in Back to the Future, I think, where he's in some dirty line, and it basically looks like a big government building, and it's stinky, and it's just gross, and the air gets hot, and it smells like that ride at Disney, the Imagination ride, where they have the smells coming at you. So it does do smells. It had a bad smell. I almost wanted the scene to move on because dude, it stinks in here, bro. Get to the futuristic building that's all nice and clean. So after watching all those trailers, finally Back to the Future starts. And the beginning of Back to the Future, it's just black titles, and it shows it fades to the clocks, and they're tick-tocking, and they're rigging, and it pans, and the little machine makes the dog Einstein's food. Then there's a scene of the TV with the news reports about the stolen plutonium, and so far, the seats are not moving. Then Marty comes in, he shuts the door, nothing moves. Then he cranks up, puts his starts turning the volume up on that big ass speaker, and I'm like, okay, still no movement. And the sound design in that scene is very interesting because it's so you feel like, okay, if this is a 4DX movie, the seats should be shaking by now. Okay, if it doesn't shake when he slams on the guitar, then maybe this is just a 4DX theater that shows the trailers in 4DX, but if the movie doesn't have a 4DX track on it, it's just another theater. So I wasn't sure if the Back to the Future 40th anniversary was going to move. So then Marty goes, and he flies back, still no shaking. As soon as he lands on the couch, that's the first time the seat shakes, and it slams you. I'm exaggerating, but not really. It really takes you by surprise. Everybody in the theater was laughing. And I'm like, awesome. The music starts. Marty says, I'm late or whatever, right? He grabs his skateboard, and when he grabs onto the back of that Chevy, that pickup driving out of the Burger King parking lot, the car feels like you're in a car. It's making that left turn, and it kind of simulates that. And I'm like, all right, dude, this is going to be awesome. So some things in Back to the Future that stood out because I felt retrofitted Back to the Future to the 4DX. And it's so fleeting, too. It's like you can't even see this anymore. Unless you have a 4DX theater that's showing older movies, but Back to the Future was out for a week. It was a specific window you had to watch it in this format. And if you weren't there, you missed it. And there's not a lot of these theaters. They're Regals. I have one in Kendall, which is like a godsend. The next one's is in like Dania Point or something, or Dania Beach or Deerfield. I don't know where it is. It's another Regal up there in Fort Lauderdale. It's far as hell. So I'm lucky I have one of these theaters here. But it's kind of opened my eyes to like, man, I'm like more willing to watch like action type movies that I normally like would catch maybe on Hulu or Netflix, like if it was an interesting concept. Now it's like, no, I want to strap in and watch it in 4DX. When Doc, I'm trying to think about all the cool things that happened in the Back to the Future movie in the 4DX. It made the DeLorean come alive. Because when you first see the DeLorean, the first shot of the DeLorean coming out of Doc's mobile van or whatever in the mall parking lot, it comes out and there's smoke. Oh yeah, and it smokes the theater. There was smoke coming out of the bottom of the theater, and you felt like you were in the car. And then when the car was speeding and doing all those turns, they were controlling it. Doc was controlling it with a remote control. All those moves were perfectly timed. When it zooms back to the past or whatever, you felt it. When it came back and it does that screech, not only did it move you in that direction, but the little thing between your legs shook when the exhaust came out of the back of the car. It was just awesome. Another thing that in that movie that struck me with the 4DX was when Doc shows Marty the little miniatures that he built to tell him what the plan was for getting the 2.1 gigawatts. He has a little street view. It looks like it's crazy to see it in the big screen too. You notice like how compact of a movie that was. Every scene was perfect. It led to the next scene and it blended perfectly. Anyways, the car goes on in this little maquette and it catches on fire and it speeds off and it lights the thing on fire and he uses a fire extinguisher. You know, you never really think about that scene. It's like 2 seconds in the movie. It's like, shh. Well, when he does a fire extinguisher, you get a little spray of water in the face. So that was cool. Another scene, it's good for hand-to-hand combat. When McFly, at the end, punches Biff, there's that shot. It's a great shot of the actor, Tom Wilson, like rolling around the back of the car. Like he spins around and he does this face like he just got socked. They designed the seats to move in a way where you were almost mimicking that same kind of reaction after being hit. It was pretty amazing. Another thing that it did subtly very well is the climactic scene with the storm and Doc is trying to get the plug on the clock. Well, before that, remember he says, "You better hurry. The storm is coming," or something, right? Or forgot what the line is, and I've seen it freaking 100 times. Right? There's a storm coming, right? And it shows the lightning and Doc with the wind in his face. It felt like you get that same wind feeling. When I say it's precise, it's pretty damn precise. Like if it's faint in the movie, you feel it faint in the theater. Another movie I heard, man, I wish I just see this is like part of my life that you lost with Uber and with the pandemic and the lockdowns. Because a lot of this technology, I think, was perfected right before the pandemic. It's when people were like marketing movies to it. Twisters, the new version of Twisters, I heard was especially optimized for this. And I tell you what, man, if they ever like re-show some of these movies that aren't in the theaters because they want to showcase them in 4DX, I would be game. So I heard Twisters was good because of the fans and the water. Predator Badlands was so awesome with it. All the predator blood that spills or sips or when the thing spits at him, you feel all that. There was a scene in Predator Badlands, and I'm not giving anything away here. It's like you should see it even if it's not in 40x anymore. I bet you some showings were still doing it in 40x because that movie's a hit. Anyways, when a ship in that movie is going into the planet, it seems like ridiculous to even have this. It goes through like like an asteroid field, where it's coming into the planet's orbit and it's coming into the atmosphere, and the rocks are slamming against this rocket ship, right? The spaceship, and it's firing and everything, and and when the rock hits, you feel the hits. You feel like you're in a vehicle that is being hit by large objects on its way down somewhere. So it makes me think that some of these big action movies could be extending some of the action sequences or situations where it would just be fun. And I feel like that's happening, and I do hear a lot of criticisms from movie reviewers who are reviewing these movies that I saw in 4DX, and they complain that, it was like a little too long, or some of the scenes the timing was off. That was a complaint they had about the one I saw yesterday, the Running Man with Glenn Powell. And I feel it's because maybe they're extending scenes to take advantage of. I don't know. That's just my theory. What do you guys think? Because in the Running Man, there's like several scenes where you're like, why are they putting this in the movie? And you're shaking all around. It's just like a sensory thing. I wouldn't be surprised if there's different edits for 4DX. That's what my point is. All right. Is that all I wanted to talk about? Now I have to fix this camera. So Gaston says he has some stuff to talk about this weekend. So I don't know if it's tomorrow. Probably not tomorrow. Probably Sunday was when I think we'll do a little live stream, and we'll see what he's doing. So it won't just be me rambling. But anyways, this was fun to reconnect, talk to this channel, to say that I'm alive, I'm doing well. I'm just a little tired right now, but and a little groggy. But I'm doing great. I am super thankful. The Uber, and by the way, I'm still on the Uber and the Lyft app. If I ever need extra money, or practically if I get bored, like the other day I was telling my friend, I was like, I feel like just like doing a Thursday night here by UM, just taking students to the Grove, just to like see what's going on. Catch the drama. It'd be like fun to do Uber for fun instead of like as like this stressful thing hanging over your shoulder. Like, how's it going to be? Where should I go? Is it better to be at the airport? All the stress, because it's like you had to make your goals. And I'm glad I'm not in that position anymore. So yeah. But what else have I been doing? Catching up with TV series. What was the last series I saw? I'm thinking about now, dude. Now that I see Predator Badlands, I realized, and I watched the one on Hulu called Prey, which is like Predator in the 1700s with like this tribe of Indians. The Predator franchise is kind of like cool again. And it's weird because I remember my buddy Mike. I wonder if it's late. I was thinking of a way if I could I use this to FaceTime somebody on live stream? Wonder how that would work. Because that would be cool to like chat with my friends or something here. Just like call Willie and have him here. I remember my friend Mike loved the first Predator. He loved it. In high school, he was always asking me to draw him and stuff, and like we kids were obsessed with the Predator. It was like the first Predator for guys. I think they're calling us Zennials because we're like Generation X mixed, kind of on the border of millennial. But because we witnessed like the analog world, the rise of the internet, and then now we're witnessing AI. Like we've seen communication on all levels. Like I remember my grandma having a rotary phone. I remember using a rotary phone. I remember the first cell phones. You know, like we have a certain lived experience. And one of those lived experiences that we guys of my age in their 40s and 50s, 60s is going to the movie theaters was special. And it's been a while since I felt that way, but this 4DX thing is kind of special, and it takes you out of the home, laptop, mobile device, streaming, Netflix, Hulu. Oh, it's on Hulu, it's on Netflix. We don't have to go out. Oh, we'll just rent it. No, dude. Go to that 4DX theater and make a night of it. And of course, a lot of this stuff is like, oh yeah, the pricing is that. So regular tickets like $18 to $20. These are like $26 for a ticket. So it's like you're paying like $5 or $6 more, but it's like so worth it. And so seeing a movie in the theaters was a big deal. Now, I did not see the original Predator in the theaters as I was too young. My parents wouldn't have taken me to see rated R movies at that age. But I did see those our generation saw those rated R movies on pay-per-view and HBO. And sometimes uncensored, obviously uncensored. So Predator was one of those freaking kind of gory movies. You see men skinned alive. Tough guy, 80s action stars, Schwarzenegger. Very male, macho, like, alpha male oriented stuff. And we grew up on that stuff. So our generation kind of still holds, like, we know how badass the Predator is. This new Badlands movie, I guess this new director that's taken over the franchise, he's really like being true to the character and kind of making it work for a modern day. And I think a lot of that has to do with putting the Predator in different situations. Some people crapped on this movie because it's PG-13, the Predator Badlands, but honestly, man, it was the furthest thing from my mind. And it was still violent and had issues, killings, even if it's not human blood, that were very gruesome. And also, like, the whole idea of killing and hunting and being a predator and the weak die, all that, it's not something for children. I mean, the reason it's PG-13 is because I think they decided to make the human-looking characters in the movie were all synthetics or androids. So they weren't really killing humans. They were killing machines that look like humans. But the animals on the planet and all this stuff, all they had to do was like change the color of the blood. But you're still seeing the Predator, fuck up some shit. So anyways, some of those movies that we saw when we were young that we probably shouldn't have seen at that age, the Predator is probably one of those. And also like Freddy Krueger and Jason, kids, even Chucky, dude. Chucky is a freaking demonic movie to let a kid watch. But we all watched Child's Play, and we were super young, and it made us very like cautious and like scared. Maybe it traumatized us. I don't know. Who knows? I don't think so. I think it's funny. I still think Chucky's funny. Like, I think we get it. You have to give your audience the benefit of the doubt. They're smarter than you think. Kids especially. But as I watched the Predator Badlands, now 2 of my nephews are already 16 and in high school. But even them, they didn't grow up watching content like this. Like, even if it's not human blood, it's still some dark shit that happens in this movie. And people that are criticizing calling Predator Badlands like the Disneyfied version of Predator, I don't think so. I didn't feel that way at all. As a matter of fact, like, besides the blood, it's probably more violent than any of the ones I grew up with. Maybe the Predator 2 was crazy. But yeah. All right, I'm going to end this stream. I haven't checked the chat. I'm not sure if I can. Where's the chat window? Docs, chat. Is it connecting to chat? People are saying he's still alive. Thanks you guys for watching in. I know some of my recurring watchers of my vlog are in the chat. Appreciate you guys. Sorry, this wasn't really a well thought out thing. I just wanted to check my setup. I still have to clean. I have to do a bunch of shit. It's the other thing I'm doing. It's like organizing my entire fucking house. Like, let me see. Let me see if I can create a. I'm gonna show you what a mess my studio is before I go. Okay, iPhone. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. All right. Okay. I can't see it, but got some of my VHSs. I can't see the preview of this thing, so let's see. Did I? Is it working? All right. Well, I can't set it, but anyways, look at all this stuff that I have here. VHSs I have to organize. A bunch of just junk that I have to reorganize into that. Here I am putting up more padding. I finished this wall here. There we go. We can go into the matrix now. That's crazy. So yeah, I've covered that wall. Covered this wall. I need to finish that area. Oh, I also got these two lights. Let's turn these down. Let's see. These are cheap lights, but let's see. See, I just changed the temperature. Maybe this is better. All right, guys. I know. Look, I look yellow. It's cool, right? I can change it. This is too blue. Is more natural. And here we have like yellow, darknesses. All right, guys. I'm signing off. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Maybe Sunday, I'm gonna call Gaston and see when he wants to do our next podcast. But in the meantime, follow me on TikTok. Follow me on Instagram. I'm alive. I'm good. I want to get this whole thing situated so I can sit down here and not have to control it so much so that I can speak freely without second guessing if that camera's off, what's wrong. I know I keep saying that every time I record, but well, now I can dedicate some time to it. All right, guys, thanks for watching the live stream. Hit me up on YouTube if you have any questions, and TikTok. And that's it. Let's end the stream.